Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining the H.C. Wainwright 24th Annual Global Investment Hybrid Conference on September 12th to the 14th, 2022. My name is Leah Lowe, and I'm an H.C. Wainwright associate. But we're hybrid this year. We're confident we're going to be able to provide value to you with over 640 companies presenting at this conference in multiple sectors, including life sciences, cryptocurrency, blockchain and fintech, technology, media and telecommunications, clean tech, metals and mining, and growth. H.C. Wainwright is a full-service investment bank dedicated to providing corporate finance, strategic advisory, and related services to public and private companies across multiple sectors and regions. We have a total of 26 publishing senior analysts and over 640 companies across all sectors. Please visit our website at hcwco.com for more information. The in-person venue for the event is located at Lotte New York Palace Hotel in New York City. Virtual participation would be staged simultaneously with over 550 company presentations scheduled as live feed and available on demand. Please join us for one-on-one meetings, corporate presentations, and panels that will be available live in streaming on September 12th to the 14th. With that said, have a productive and enjoyable day, and I'd like to welcome our presenter, Lakshmi Kotra, who is the CEO of Lucid Psychoceuticals, a psychedelics-inspired biotech company focusing on preventing and possibly reversing neurodegeneration that leads to brain illnesses. Take it away, Lakshmi.
Thank you very much, Leah. And it's a pleasure to be here at H.C. Wainwright Conference and sharing FSD Pharma pipeline. We are a health sciences company. We are developing novel drugs and novel therapeutic solutions for brain and inflammatory disorders. My name is Lakshmi Kotra, and our NASDAQ ticker is huge. Canadian Stock Exchange ticker is huge. Please pay attention to the disclaimers here and also the forward-looking statements that I would be using as I present our company's pipeline. At FSD Pharma, our operating philosophy is that we maintain strong IP position. We have therapeutic indications that are selected based on evidence, market, regulatory and clinical feasibility, and of course, the opportunity to enter the market. We incorporate regulatory and marketing strategies into clinical development for optimal output for our shareholders. And we continuously scout for synergistic partnerships, and we pursue asset-centric opportunities for new funding and revenue. Our focus is in neuro and neuroinflammatory disorders. Currently, we have 3 pipelines, as you see here. One is Lucid MS or Lucid 21302. It's targeting neurodegenerative disorders, specifically multiple sclerosis. Our second pipeline is in mental health, looking at major depression disorders. Lucid 201 or Lucid Psych is the lead molecule. And the third one is an anti-inflammatory agent looking at broad inflammatory disorders called FSD-PA or FSD 201. Our first pipeline in neurodegenerative disorders is multiple sclerosis. Multiple sclerosis is still a major issue globally. It's a chronic inflammatory and neurodegenerative disorder. In North America, Europe alone, there is a large market segment in this category. It is characterized as impaired and unpredictable symptoms, including decline in patient cognitive function and eventually mobility, leading to death. Current treatments are immunomodulatory, which do not address neurodegenerative mechanisms. MS market is significantly growing, currently projected at $24.1 billion globally by 2027. Lucid 21302, our lead molecule, is first in class as a neuroprotective and non-immunomodulatory treatment for MS. We have excellent preclinical efficacy data on this asset, and we have good understanding of clinical trials and KOL base. And we believe there are wider applications into other white matter disorders like multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, and Alzheimer's disease. MS traditionally has been categorized as an autoimmune disorder. In the recent years, we're learning that there is a neurodegeneration involved in the disease. On the right-hand side, you see that once the disease is diagnosed, initially there is an immune component characterized as RRMS stage, followed by a progressive MS stage. In the past 10 years, clinical evidence is suggesting that neurodegeneration and progressive part of the disease is from the early stages of the disease as well. Hence, it is not just a immune disorder, but includes neurodegeneration as well. And one of the hallmark features of MS is demyelination. That basically leads to the loss of nerve signals, as you see here, due to scarred myelin. And something called myelin basic proteins are damaged, which are components in this myelin sheath protecting the nerves, leading to scars in the brain and spinal cord. At FSD, we honed on to a mechanism called hypercitrullation and associated enzymes called protein arginine deaminases. We've spent significant amount of time in drug discovery, lead optimization, focusing on this novel mechanism, looking at virtual screening, identifying hit molecules, and some structure-activity relationships and in vivo testing, eventually leading to a lead compound, Lucid 21302. It's a new class of compound. It reduces immune cell infiltration into the brains. Here I am sharing a mouse model study that we used called EAE mouse model, where when the treatment is not administered to the mouse significantly loses physical ability and also loss of myelin in the brain. When we start treating the mouse, there is a gradual recovery of the mouse and full functional recovery. Survival rates are also 100% when we're treating with the drug. A small illustration here through a video. When a mouse is inflicted with the disease, you can see the loss of function. The hind legs, tail do not work. Eventually, the front legs do not work, and the mouse dies. When we treat the mouse with the drug, after the disease is induced, you can see the functional recovery where the mouse start to be mobile, and also in the brain spinal cord, we can see myelination reappearing. We have conducted numerous models in this context and numerous studies, and these are reproducible data. In the brain, just to give you an example, in healthy mice, usually we do not see immune cells. These are clear brain slices with no immune cells. When the disease is induced, you can see the black spots, immune cells heavily infiltrating into the brain, which is not common in healthy animals and healthy patients, healthy people. When we treat with the drug, immune cell infiltration significantly is reduced, as you see here in the graph on the right-hand side. We have also looked at progressive MS mouse models, where we can clearly see the loss of myelin when there is no treatment with the drug. Here you see the T2, so-called white matter T2 lesions in the brain. When we treat with the drug, you see that myelin is reestablished when we at any phase of the progressive MS mouse model that we initiated the treatment. And that is also can be measured quantitatively to show that. One of the questions anytime we develop drugs for multiple sclerosis is, what is the mechanism and is that immunomodulatory? We took extra time and steps to show that our drug does not elicit significant immunomodulatory effects. It ameliorates symptoms when administered either prophylactically, that is before the induction of the disease, or as a therapeutic agent after the disease onset. And as a monotherapy treatment, it reduced inflammatory demyelination and axonal loss in immune-independent manner. In summary, Lucid 21302 is a disease-modifying therapy for multiple sclerosis. It's a new mechanism of action. It prevents and reduces neurodegeneration. There is no suppression of immune system, and there is no immunomodulation. Excellent efficacy in various preclinical models. Over 11 years of R&D went into this asset. And there is accelerated functional recovery of diseased mice, preserving myelin and reducing axonal degeneration. FSD has exclusive worldwide license for the patented technology, and we are anticipating phase 1 clinical trial IND filing in Q4 of 2022. Our second asset is Lucid Psych, looking at mental health and primarily major depressive disorder. Depression is a global epidemic. We can characterize that, and especially COVID has exacerbated that. There is a significant population that is afflicted with depression. And major depression is a loss of interest or depressed mood in pleasure for at least 3 months. This is a period there is a period of remission and relapse over a lifetime when someone has major depression. And treatment-resistant depression, about 30% of the cases diagnosed, still remains to be a major market opportunity for new drugs. We do need new mechanisms of action for new therapist development, and economic burden in the USA is about $210 billion annually. And in the 7 major markets, we are estimating the number to grow to about $10 billion or so by 2030 for the treatment purposes. Alternatives and clinically effective solutions to the existing treatment is very much sought after. At FSD, our solution is Lucid 201. It's our lead compound. It's a psychoactive class of compounds. It belongs to psilocybin family. We selected this compound after looking at about 7 known psychedelic compounds using machine learning algorithms for drug-like properties and ADME. We are developing proprietary dosage form to reduce hallucinogenic effect, but potentially maintain therapeutic efficacy. And the lead compound has known clinical data for efficacy. And that gives us the confidence that there is high potential for success when we enter clinical trials. Summary of our mental health pipeline is Lucid 201 as a controlled substance, currently categorized as a Scheduled 1, is under development for major depressive disorder, and the scale-up GMP production in narcotics licensed facilities for FSD is underway. And our IND enabling studies and clinical protocols under development for an IND application submission by Q4 of 2022. Our FSD's unique advantage is that mental health conditions such as depression, anxiety are common in neurodegenerative disorders such as multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's, and Alzheimer's. We categorize them as prodromic symptoms for neurodegenerative disorders. This common theme between mental health and neurodegenerative disorders is something that FSD is very excited in terms of being able to see the common thread there and develop therapeutic solutions for patients in these categories. We have strong epidemiological data that's already available on the prodromes in neurodegenerative disorders, and Lucid FSD Pharma, we are addressing these challenges under the umbrella of total brain health. That brings me to the third pipeline under development at FSD, anti-inflammatory agent Lucid FSD 201 for a variety of inflammatory disorders. FSD 201, we also call that as FSD PEA. It's a proprietary ultramicronized palmitoyl-ethanolamide formulation. Palmitoyl-ethanolamide, or PEA, it's an endogenous compound. All of us produce it, you, I, in our body. We produce it on demand when inflammation happens under healthy conditions. When inflammatory disease conditions are present, such as rheumatoid arthritis, osteoarthritis, inflammatory chronic pain, and a variety of other conditions, PEA has the potential, has clinical evidence to show that it can subdue inflammation. There is proven mechanism of action and clinical efficacy as an anti-inflammatory agent for PEA. The challenge is that PEA is not bioavailable, and administration of PEA alone is a challenge to obtain therapeutic levels. Here to show the 7 major markets, 5 from EU and Japan, USA, significant market size in RA and psoriatic arthritis related conditions. And of course, there are a number of other inflammatory conditions that PEA can be deployed for. PEA mechanism as an endogenous compound is integral in the endocannabinoid system. It is not an endocannabinoid, but it is integral in its mechanism of action, where it can subdue the activated mast cells or microglia or astrocytes, reducing inflammation significantly. FSD conducted phase 1 clinical trials for FSD 201, its proprietary micro formulation, under SAD/MAD fast-fed conditions, and it is shown to be safe and is well tolerated in normal healthy subjects in a range of doses up to the maximum required by FDA. No safety concerns were reported in the study at all, and administration of FSD 201 under fed conditions resulted in significant increase of AUC, giving us a way for administering this molecule for patients. There is no accumulation of PEA at 2 different doses that we tested, and multiple dosing studies seem to be achieved within 7 days. We see this molecule as a chronic treatment, and very recently we received a study may proceed letter from US FDA and notice of authorization from Health Canada for a phase 2, a clinical trial on FSD 201. The study design for phase 2, a clinical trial, is a randomized double-blind placebo-controlled parallel group study for safety and efficacy of FSD 201 in patients with chronic widespread musculoskeletal nociplastic pain associated with idiopathic mast cell activation syndrome. We are looking at about recruiting 60 patients, and primary objective is to evaluate analgesic efficacy of FSD 201 under this inflammatory pain condition. Strategic direction for FSD 201 as an anti-inflammatory asset for us is multi-pronged approach. We do have a currently available 505(b)(1) status in the US granted by US FDA. To our knowledge, it's the only PEA product in the world with phase 1 clinical safety data. And we are exploring equivalent designations to 505(b)(1) in other countries outside of USA, so to create a market access strategy. And we are also creating market access strategy as a non-prescription drug outside of US and other regulated markets. We are also exploring licensing and other partnering opportunities on FSD 201. We are pursuing commercialization through regulatory strategies. Overall, at FSD, for the company, our competitive advantage is that we have a diversified product portfolio in neuro and inflammatory conditions. We pursue novel mechanisms of action that are backed by clinical pharmacology and pharmacological evidence. And we focus on unmet clinical need and large market segments. Our IP position in every asset that we pursue is strong. We pursue patent families on exclusive basis, and composition of matter patents are very, very important to us. And we like to keep exclusive IP rights as we build the IP portfolio. We like to see potential growth both in our assets as well as for the company. We have a solid execution team to achieve that. We are located in one of the largest biotech clusters in the world, and we continue to look for and acquire complementary assets as we pursue partnerships with other companies. We have a strong cash position at this time, and we are very actively looking at institutional investors and development partners for the assets that we are carrying at FSD Pharma. I'd like to thank you very much for your attention. And once again, my name is Lakshmi Kotra. I'm the CEO of Lucid Psychaceuticals, a fully owned subsidiary of FSD Pharma. Our ticker is HUGE on NASDAQ. Please visit our website, www.fsdpharma.com. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lakshmi, for that lovely presentation and for going over your pipeline with us. We're looking forward to seeing future data in the future. It's a very exciting pipeline. And I also want to thank all our presenters for taking part in what has been a very productive and informative series of presentations. We appreciate the time and effort that went into preparing them. We're very grateful for your flexibility, your presence at our conference this year. Thank you again from the H.C. Wainwright team.
Thanks very much, Leah.